You staying home tonight?
I hadn't planned on it, no.
Plan on it.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery.
You're gonna die.
I'm Raymond Arroyo. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is wow. Wait, no, more clapping. More clapping. More clapping. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is the show. The best, Johnny. The best. Semi-Catholic, semi-Christian,
semi-humble,
semi-educational.
Yep.
Semi-inspirational.
Emphasis on the semi.
Semi-entertaining podcast.
Yeah.
The best semi-podcast on the market.
It's the best.
Well, we're here with a live studio audience.
Woo.
Everyone introduce yourselves. Say hi. Thousands of people back there. We have really good processing on the audio.
So much.
It's just clipping it all out. You can't hear the roaring fans.
Yeah. It's good editing.
My name is Edmund Mitchell. There's intro stuff. I forget. It's been a while, guys. It's been a long time.
It has been.
There's intro material that I'm supposed to say, right? Do you guys remember what it is? What's our website, Allie? Because you're a huge fan of the show. Because you're on the show all the time.
Patreon. Look up
Audience,
our Patreon.
Allie always knows the details. No, not Patreon.
Yep. It's you can give us money.
You told us recently, Allie, you told us recently that you hate Patreon. Do you remember that?
No.
You texted us that.
No, dare you?
Yeah.
No,
I
don't hate Patreon. I've seen an abundance of them in the past couple of weeks. I'm like,
all popped up
everyone
at the
has
same
a
time.
Patreon.
Yeah,
a
everyone
bit.
has a Patreon.
A little bit.
I'm so loud.
The reasons for these Patreons are getting more and more.
Yeah, why is
out
that?
there.
Tell us why, Johnny.
Like my cat needs its tail groomed. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to jump on that
Like
Patreon.
a monthly
every month.
subscription. Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive.
If you get to that
Squishy.
third tier, you can pet the cat.
Yeah.
If you're supporting more than $100 a month, you can pet Mr. Jiggles.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, anytime you want.
Jiggles. There's so many other
Johnny,
names.
speaking of Jiggles, why don't you introduce yourselves to those who are listening at home and those in our house who don't know you?
Okay.
Explain the weird things you're saying.
My name is Mr. Jiggles.
No, that's not your name.
Johnny Philp, the
Yes.
third.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm not a third.
You're not the third?
We've talked about this every time I say that.
We've talked about lying on the podcast too.
Yeah.
You know, lying's a sin, Edmund. And
Yeah.
You know where sinners go.
Where?
Amanda, why don't you introduce yourself?
We're here with special guest Amanda Vernon.
Hey.
But that's not your real name.
Right now, that's my name, yeah.
Okay.
It's not what
But there's another. You have a different last name, right?
Beyonce.
My middle name is Joy.
Joy. Really?
Joy is my middle name.
That's Johnny's middle name too.
Wow.
It's not.
We have more in common than I thought.
wish. That's better than mine.
Amanda, tell the folks at home, the folks that are listening at home, a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Just real quick, because we're gonna get into the meat of it
Phoenix.
later.
I live in the desert.
Okay, you live in Phoenix.
I have a really handsome husband, and we have a bunch of children.
How many is a bunch?
As many as we can.
Nice.
No. How many do you currently have? Not as many.
Oh, I was thinking of the future. No, we have 4 so far.
Okay,
That's
4.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it's hot in here.
It's like
And I'm
Phoenix.
primed for this because I'm from.
Yeah.
I thought you made it hot in here so that
No,
I
I'm
would
like
feel
flush. I
more
feel very
sweating.
flush. It's been a while.
Maybe it's desert
effort.
life. It's coming up here.
Amanda is popular musician, popular author of the book, this book here, When God Wrecks Everything. When God Wrecks Your Romance. Orthodox Faith, Unorthodox Story. This is not
That's
your
my book.
husband.
It's not my husband.
This is a man who almost was your husband and then became a priest.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. You guys just have to read the book to find out.
Find the book.
Amazing.
Read the book.
Allie, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Allie Hoffman, and I'm a youth director at a parish. And
Middle
I
name
also,
is what?
I've told you this many times. What is my middle name?
It's David, right?
Yep, David, also pronounced Maureen. So yeah, Maureen. And I
Wow.
also
Is that a French pronunciation?
Yep, yeah.
Wow, the French.
So, I also run an online thing called the Oodles of Doodles.
Wow.
Dudes of Dudes.
Which is on Instagram. You have a
Instagram.
website.
Yep.
You have a Patreon.
Nope. I should get one
Soon.
though.
You really should.
I should a monthly.
Everyone
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. There are people that follow at home, surprising as that may be. There are people that follow these podcasts, and we should update people. Allie recently made a huge life decision.
Okay.
she decided to basically etch something into her flesh, her temple of the Holy Spirit. She decided she decided to mark forever.
Yep.
To maim.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Keep talking. Yep.
Can you explain?
This is
explain
permanent.
for those who are listening at home? We're gonna get a tight shot there.
I'm pretty sure I saw this online.
Yeah.
You did, yeah. Allie, can you tell people you got a tattoo here?
The internet revolted over this, by the way.
Yeah, they said, "How dare you?" So I have a really big birthmark on my arm. Goes
in the spirit of Vatican II.
Yep. Nope. I was Protestant growing up, so that doesn't help.
You were Protestant growing up?
Yeah.
Everyone in the room who was Protestant growing up? Not me. Wait, Amanda, I thought. Wait, were you? I thought. If you're still Protestant, raise your hand. We love you guys. So wait, I always forget that. I always forget that you're a convert.
Yeah.
Man.
So my birthmark.
Oh yeah, that okay.
When I was
what
little,
does you being Protestant have to do with your birthmark?
You said Vatican II. I don't know. Okay, so I
Nothing to
had
do with
a
your arm.
I have a
That has
birthmark.
nothing to do with
and
your
when
arm.
I was little, my dad named it Alley Island, and so I always wanted a little sailboat sailing from Alley Island.
Isn't that really
Yeah.
sweet?
So
And he would name he would like draw
Yeah.
with a pen all the little
Like-
coves.
He just named it. So
He'd
like,
be
this
like-
is M&M Island.
Yep.
This is
Affirming.
Ghost Cove.
Yep.
And
Body
was like-
positivity.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's
Isn't that
like
cool?
I'm going away, Dad. I'm doing my own thing.
going away, Dad.
See,
You
I'm
sailed
growing
out.
up.
Does
I'm
anyone else at the
sailing.
table have any tattoos, or anyone in my house? Does anyone else in the house have tattoos? I don't.
Just
there's
me.
Who said
a
I
great
do?
Hush follows
Oh,
with that.
Sean has.
Sean has.
Sean has tattoos.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ooh,
look at
and
that.
how?
Epic tattoos. Amanda,
Oh, yes.
do you think you'll ever have a tattoo in the
I
the
think
future?
if I went to Jerusalem, I would get one of those.
Oh,
You know, there's
yes.
like the Jerusalem cross that's like,
the pilgrimage cross.
yeah, the pilgrimage cross. I would get one maybe like here on my wrist or something.
Are there any other
Sweet.
places in the world where if you go there, the cultural tradition is to get it tattooed on you?
Prison.
Detroit.
I'm pretty sure.
Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
I mean, Detroit
That
and
was
prison are kind
amazing.
of like the same thing, right?
Hey, Detroit is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I'm sorry what Johnny said.
Every
It's
time-
kind of like a feeder.
Every time you visit
Lie.
Detroit, you get a little teardrop
Yeah.
on there. Every time you visit
Or
Detroit in the
someone
winter,
in Detroit
And
gets
your
one
soul.
Yeah.
from you.
you just get.
Yeah.
Wow.
True
okay.
story. The last time I was in Detroit, they were like, "You have to stay close to the tour manager. It's not safe." I was like, "Okay, I'll be fine." Guy tried to steal the watch off my wrist.
The tour guide?
Was he
Oh, the homeless man, Allie.
Oh my, like in Detroit.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
was he successful?
I don't think so.
What was your defensive? So Amanda, you pretend to be.
Hey, man, I'm married. Didn't stop him. Didn't stop him. He kept going.
Didn't stop him.
That was it.
Hold him on. Dang, man.
Wow, that's uncomfortable.
Really
Okay.
wanted that watch.
So pickpocketing.
So let's talk about Amanda, Allie, if you're okay with that.
Please continue.
So Amanda's here to perform a house concert, which is going to be really awesome. Everyone's been asking me. Everyone's like, Edmund, you know, like I get thousands of DMs. Which
Everyone
is
is asking.
yeah, which is half as many as Allie gets on a regular basis. But so I get a lot of DMs and people are like, how do you and Amanda know each other? And it's like because we're so famous on social media, probably.
Right.
But also we just kind of, it's like one of those weird things where you just start connecting, you just start following someone and you're like, oh, this person's awesome. And then how did this all
And
happen?
then all of a sudden you're friends.
Yeah, I
And then
forget how
you're
this
here
happened.
in his
And
house
then we're-
recording.
Yeah. And then we get all these thousands of people into your living
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, yeah.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Oh, and you're here with your friend Beck, who's going to be coming on later.
Yeah, Beck Bridger is
Yep.
here from the state of Wyoming.
She's here from representing the state of Wyoming.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
She's very official.
How long have you been doing music, Amanda?
So full time, like as in my husband quit his job and this is what we do to feed the kids, 7 years.
Dang.
Wow. That's amazing.
7 years.
Wow.
I'm really proud of that and grateful.
Does he
And-
do music stuff too?
He's my manager, so he holds down
wow.
the fort.
Does that
At
get
home.
awkward? Does that get awkward, like bringing work home? Is that like uncomfortable?
I think because
Trying not to have work conversations at home.
Firewall.
we do have boundaries about that. Like because David is much more like fluid with his thoughts and conversation. He'll be like talking about work, talking about kids, talking about us. But I'm like, are we having a work conversation right now? Am I in my work mode?
Yeah.
And so I have to be very upfront about like
Yeah.
what are we talking about now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool guy.
He's
Is he
the
a good
best.
manager though? That's the
He's-
real question.
He's
We're not going to
so
share this
good.
with him. He'll never see it.
He's right. This
Yeah.
is just gonna
Patreon
be-
people.
Yeah,
can
this is
see it, though.
private.
What would he have?
Yeah, only for Patreon.
This is the segment. If
Yeah.
you are,
yeah.
What
Yeah,
would
if
he
you-
have to do for you to fire him? Like, how bad would he have to mess up?
Oh man, I think he's the one who would be able to fire me. So.
That would be
Or maybe
uncomfortable.
if he booked a gig in Detroit, maybe.
Oh, you know what? I've never played a show in Detroit.
Don't do it.
I'm from Michigan.
Detroit, if you're listening. So one of your childhood friend,
Oh yeah.
your friend forever is here.
The last time we spent time together was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
It wasn't that long ago. I mean, that long.
How old are you?
Wait, 3rd grade wasn't that long ago?
I mean, he said like, wow, that was like last.
How old are you?
3rd grade is
Wait, how old are you, Amanda?
I'm 32.
Are you allowed to ask women that?
You say,
wow, you're
no,
older
no,
than me?
You say,
wow.
This is what you say.
feel good about
How young
that.
are you?
Oh, how young
yeah,
how
it's
young are
just a
you?
little
bit,
bit.
yeah.
Well, and I acted
No, it's
very
a long
shocked by
time
your
ago.
age. I acted very shocked by your age. I was like,
That could be good or bad.
because I'm 30. Johnny's 45.
It's true.
Yeah.
ages
He has
very
that he has
well.
that Benjamin Buttons thing. He's just hitting the middle.
So I started
Yeah.
at
He's just
45.
he's just passing the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I look great.
He looks really great.
45.
So Amanda, tell us about this book too. So what's the story behind this book?
Yeah,
Or just tell us
so-
your story. How about just tell us everything
Just
about
talk
you?
like my whole life story.
Yeah.
yeah,
like,
just tell us
the
everything. Where to
2-minute
start?
version.
Maybe just start in 3rd grade.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we need a
in
fact check, so
3rd
she'll be
grade,
fact checking all
Katie
the
and we were in a homeschooling group together.
Homeschooler.
Yeah,
Okay.
my favorite people in life were the people who didn't guess that I was homeschooled. They'd be like, "What school do you go to? Public?" And I'm like, "Yes." They couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
That's a win.
Yeah. So yeah. Then Katie moved away to like Missouri, and I started doing music. So.
Was it because Katie moved away?
You know how like when
It was such a
something
dark
sad
place.
happens in your life, you just
Yeah.
gotta pour it out.
Like
wow.
Taylor Swift.
So you have Katie.
Right.
You have Katie to thank
Thank you, Katie.
for your
Yeah.
whole career.
Thank you.
Man.
Wow.
What was the
I know.
title of your first record?
No, here we
Missouri
are.
Misery. Is that what it was?
That's good.
That's really
Her first
why'd you
album,
You can have that if you want.
or her first album, Katie Made Me Do It.
Katie made me do
Do
it.
it. That's really
So
good.
you've
true.
been for 7 years. So take us from early childhood, take us to this like 7 years of.
Yeah, so I released my first album when I was 15 years old.
Oh wow.
And there's some youth ministers at this table, right? Are you guys all in youth ministers?
We've all
Yeah.
been youth ministers. I'm not a youth minister.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
well, and then
you
they're.
graduated?
I moved
Graduated
on.
to adults.
We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still there. We know.
But my youth ministry was like huge in my life, and
Where was this? Welcome.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yep. Yep, just way across the state from
Yeah.
Detroit.
I've been
so.
to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, but we like I remember when you'd like burn CDs, you
Yeah.
know, you'd have like copies.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. So I made these CDs of like my original songs. And I had people in my life, like that was a time in life when people were like, maybe you can get signed, you could get a record label.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I remember really praying, like my prayer life was like really blossoming at the time. And I was like, Lord, I have these CDs. Should I send them into like Backstreet Boys manager, Britney
Oh,
Spears
definitely.
manager,
Yes.
NSYNC's, like, you know. And then I just felt in my heart like, no, that is not, like I wasn't getting any inspiration about that. So I just gave them away to my friends instead. And then I found out my youth director like overheard my friends listening to my music when I wasn't around. And he was like, this is something, like we should support this. And so they did. Like they put their youth group fund into my music, and it
Wow.
was like the original Kickstarter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they backed it.
Forget Patreon,
I was
Allie.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Forget
And,
it.
Yeah.
Done.
Just go to your youth group and ask them to fund you.
Man,
Yeah.
it was such a great idea because I paid them back within
Yeah.
6 months. Like
Yeah.
they put the money into the album. I went into my little concerts that they helped me set up at like churches and stuff.
Wow.
And then I paid them back, and I got to like roll with my career after
Yeah,
that.
that's
At
amazing.
15.
At 15, yeah.
Wow.
That's
oh my
awesome.
gosh.
So you started performing where? Where'd you start? Like,
Just like churches. Like, so
Yeah.
I remember specifically praying that I could use my music to glorify God. And I didn't know what to do about that or where to start. I was already playing like at my church youth group, right?
yeah.
And so eventually I just kind of left that in the Lord's hands and just did what was right in front of me. And from there, I remember when my youth director approached me and was like, hey, would you like to record a CD? I'm like, oh, wow, I was just asking the Lord about this. But then he's like, we can set up a concert and we can have it be for youth and you can tell them about Jesus. I'm like, yeah.
That sounds
That's what I
amazing.
wanna do.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it just was word of mouth from there. You know, like with somebody at the concert's like, hey, my cousin is the youth minister down the road. I'm like, what's their number? Right. So I was just like
Wow.
big into networking as
Yeah.
a teen, which I didn't know that's what I was doing, but
Yeah.
it just came naturally to me. So
So then what happened after high school?
I took a year off of full-time school just to
Smart.
do music.
Smart.
Just to do music.
Highly recommend.
My parents were like, "Hey, if you want to really pursue this, you know, you can live at home and just see
That's
what."
so amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
opportunities.
like I'm really big into like don't go straight into college.
Yeah.
Like, I would tell high schoolers in our high school youth group like, how about they're like, I don't know this whole college thing. Like, do you have any advice? I'd say, don't.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just take some time to pay rent for once before you get into $100,000 debt.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I know some people who are so set on what they want to do right away, and that's
Yeah.
awesome, and that you can just see their career in front of them. My friend who's like an obstetrician, you know, like he was just like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it was awesome to see
Yeah,
that.
if you have that, then yeah.
If you have that passion and that vision. But for me, I mean, I had a passion and vision to do music, specifically music ministry. And I was like, I don't know if college is going to help me do that.
Yeah.
And so for a year, I just pursued music. And then I think it was a little confusing for my parents because what they saw was like I was in my room on my computer.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And like, but the internet is like just prime at that point, but just it was like the start of like being able to communicate with anyone anywhere and like carve out a niche for myself. But they were like,
So, but in general, they were pretty supportive.
in general, they were.
So you take that
But
year
then
off.
during that year, they were like, maybe you should go to college, like in the meantime, you
Yeah.
know? And my dad can correct me if I'm wrong on this later. Hi, Dad.
He will. He will correct
But
you.
this is the one time I really remember him like apologizing to me for like life advice. Was he's like, I think you should go to
College?
to college and sign up for a university where I'm like living there. And he was so excited. And he's like, I think you should do it. And I was like, oh. And I just had this like bad feeling, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for 6 weeks. And then I said, I'm going to go be a rock star now.
Oh wow.
Bye, Dad.
And is that when your dad apologized or?
A while after that, after
Yeah.
he saw how everything was unfolding, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, this is you had this calling."
So where are you living at the time?
I moved out of my parents' house to go to college, and then I called my dad. Actually, he called me because I was like non-responsive for a while, and he's like, "What is happening?" And I remember I was on the phone with him. I remember this distinctly. It was like the landline in the dorm, you know.
Yes.
And my dad's been trying to reach me, and finally we're talking. He's like, "Amanda, do you believe it's God's will for you to be at school now?" And I couldn't answer. I had like no answer. And he's like, if you can't say yes, then you can just come home.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'll just
that's
come home
super
then.
Wow.
supportive.
Go dad.
yeah.
Like,
That's awesome.
okay, I'm coming home.
So where was this? This was in Phoenix or?
No, so I grew up in Grand Rapids, right? So I moved just across the lake, Lake Michigan, to Milwaukee to go to
Okay.
school at Marquette
nice.
University.
And then you moved back to.
Yeah, that was
Like,
the
I'm
worst.
home.
Yeah, I moved back 6 weeks later
Yeah.
to my parents' house, and
And then just
that
got
was
on
a
your
dark time.
and just got on your computer.
And I just got on my computer.
So
And
you
I didn't tell my friends I was back or anything. I was so embarrassed. I'm
Yeah.
like, bye everyone. I'm
Yeah.
off to college.
felt-
That's the thing is like there's so much pressure to stay in college and go, and stay the course that you've been doing since either ninth grade or 8th grade or 7th grade. Like you have to go to college, you have to graduate. This is the
There's like
track.
a failure mode. If
Yeah.
you
Oh, I totally
Yeah.
felt like I was like deep down, I knew that I could see like what I desired to do and that I wanted to do. Are you okay over there?
What happened? What?
Is there something we need to talk about?
No,
Do we
I'm
need to
thinking
have a
about
small
all
group?
the conversations I had with my parents about
What?
totally the
Does it
opposite.
track this? No.
Oh yeah, it was, Dad, I'm not going to college. What are you going to do? I'm going to be a drummer. You're going to college.
So it's none of this of stay home for a year.
You
It's
guys
like,
as
no,
dads
no,
should talk.
You're going.
Yeah.
You guys as
My
dads
dad
should
is a psychologist, so you know.
Wow.
It's too late. I had to go.
you guys as dads should bowl together more often or
should.
something. Just kind of rub off on each
It's
other.
only been once or twice, so
Yeah.
due for another bowling.
That's so funny.
So you move back home, you're like just in your room on your computer writing music. And then
yeah, reaching out to people and saying like, "Hey, I could come to a concert. I'm this college dropout who you want to meet," you know?
Yeah.
And
were you specifically going like the Christian music route? Is that what you were doing or?
so it's always been difficult for me to like find a place for
Yeah.
myself, like musically and then with ministry at the same time. Cause like I write pop music
Yeah.
and I call my genre like soulful pop, but then I like to talk about my faith. It just pours out of me.
Soul pop.
Soul pop.
Yeah, so like that's like the soulful part, but I mean the music, it's like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've never been in the CCM contemporary Christian music
Is that Creedence
world.
Clearwater
Yeah.
Revival?
Yeah. No, it's an M.
Did you hear me
M.
clarify that?
Oh.
Clearance.
What's CCM?
Okay.
Is that Catholic
Christian- no.
charismatic movement?
That's
No,
what it
the-
is. She
Yep.
just said it.
What did you say?
Oh
Did
my
I
gosh.
say it in my NPR voice?
Yeah.
Did you too?
Yeah, I think so. I think I tuned it out.
CCM is a relatively new.
Wait, is that Catholic Christian?
Contemporary Christian music.
Oh,
Any praise music, anything that
Yeah.
you listen to on what's the
Under that,
station?
94.9.
94.9.
So like Jesse Manabuso.
I was gonna sing
Oh.
it too.
Yeah, so any Christian music station, they play CCM. Like that's a genre of music, and it's its
Gotcha.
own industry.
So you've never felt
Chris
comfortable in that.
Tomlin.
I have never felt like that's the place where I'm gonna thrive as an artist.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Katie's friend.
David
There-
Crowder.
There's beer
Hi,
and Topo
guys.
Chico and stuff, and people will host you. Someone will jump up and Keith. That's Katie and her friend. Hopefully, there's chairs somewhere.
I thought you meant my Katie. There's another Katie here too.
Yeah, there's another Katie here.
Wow, it's the Katie's.
That's how many people are here. There's
The
multiple
Katie's.
There's,
Katie's.
many.
Made
There's a
me
chair.
do
That's a
it.
small children's
Oh,
chair.
that's so cute.
Yeah.
It's like this little red stool.
Honey,
The
Danielle.
red stool of friendship.
There's guests here, Danielle.
She's eating pepperoni.
Oh, where is Danielle? What?
She's in there.
She's feasting on.
She's got
Pepperoni.
She's got the pepperonis.
Got it. Yeah.
We're real. This podcast is real.
We're just real life.
We're not produced like those other Catholic podcasts.
Yeah.
Like name a few, Edmund.
Like that one with the priest.
Yeah.
Like the other one with the guy from Great Britain who
Yeah.
pretends he's from Australia,
Yeah,
but really
we know.
it's a colonized
One with the
country.
girls.
I mean, really, you're from Great Britain.
The one with the girls.
The podcast with
The
the
one with the
girl.
girls.
3 girls.
Yeah, the girl. Like, wait, the
Does one
child.
of them wear
the-
her veil every day?
the nun.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
two
The
other
podcast
girls.
with the child
Yep.
celebrity.
Yep.
Ugh.
He has a podcast?
Let's say it. Say it out loud.
The podcast with the 2 large men with beards.
Yep. Well,
Ugh.
one
I think
has
it's
beard. They have
it's
both have beards.
yeah, it's catching pheasants or something.
I thought it was
This is
releasing.
fire.
Yeah.
Releasing.
Where's the
wolves.
fire emoji?
Yeah, catching pheasants.
Releasing.
This is
These are all
Releasing
super
wolves.
insider jokes that like.
Oh
not a lot
wow,
of
this
people
is
understand.
very niche.
Everyone's gonna
right
like,
now.
back to CCM.
So back to
Beck
CCM.
is really confused right now. We got to
Yeah.
bring her back around. It's okay, Beck. We'll call you up for normal conversations too.
So
We don't
okay,
have
so
normal conversations.
you don't feel comfortable in the CCM.
No, I
You don't want to be boxed in.
Because you
Yeah.
love Jesus, but you cuss a little.
well, I feel that
So unfortunate.
I feel
Ephesians
not-
4:29.
okay. Well, the thing is, I think I've had a knack for like business to be an entrepreneur since I started out. You know, I was
Yeah.
telling you, like I was just naturally networking. And
Gary Vaynerchuk fan.
Hey, yeah. Okay, so when I started listening to so my husband started listening to Gary Vee first, and he's like, he says the stuff that you say all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And so I would listen to his like anecdotes about gratitude. I'm like, that's what I
Yeah.
talk
No,
about.
I had the same experience. Like,
Yeah.
like it was for the first time someone affirming things that I was already saying, which I love finding online.
Yeah. So
But no, seriously, I really felt that way. There was things that he was affirming that I was like, man, I'm
so
not hearing
I
that
think
anywhere
he's
else.
I think he's speaking into like this sense, and I don't know what you call that, besides like entrepreneurialism. Maybe it was a gift of the spirit that matches with it or
Charism,
something
could
like
be,
that.
yeah.
Charism of entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
So I think I had that sense, and I could see the industry of the contemporary Christian music like market. And I just I could see what I would need to do to be successful in that. And for some reason, I don't know, I just don't think I was being led that way
Yeah.
into that. Like, did somebody mention Matt Maher? Because he's like
I
way.
mean, doesn't always
Yeah,
someone
we do,
mention
yeah.
Matt Maher?
Always.
We
here.
start
So-
our meetings by praying to Matt. And then,
Yeah. We say, dear Silver Fox.
Prayer is outside of time. So if you think about like Matt Maher in heaven someday, he could be interceding
Yeah.
for us now.
Matt Maher has the
in the
opposite.
future.
Yes.
Matt Maher has the opposite of what Johnny has, the Benjamin Buttons thing.
Yeah.
Well, not the opposite.
he gets older by the day.
No. Matt Maher has like George Clooney disease where he doesn't change age. He just
Yeah.
stays at like a solid 50 for the rest of his
hair
life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He
if I
just
call
looks
that a
50.
I don't think he's
disease.
50 yet.
Well, but he looks, you know,
That
he's
might
just
be a
like great.
charism, too.
He's
Yeah.
just silver
Yeah,
hair.
we just look mature.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just stay in that
Matt looks
matured
mature.
state.
He
Yeah,
wears
his
skinny
hair.
jeans.
But you know, he has a slender frame, but he's strong. He's a strong man.
How do you know
He
that?
is.
How do you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk
Have you
about
arm
that.
wrestled
Yeah.
Matt?
No,
I
he's just
saw
kind of
it.
like driftwood in there, you know? It's like cotton around driftwood.
One
He's like
time
yeah.
he fell on stage.
He
Were
fell
you
on
at that?
stage.
My friend got it on film.
Is your friend Lori Ubowski?
Yeah, my friend is
I
Lori
play for
Ubowski.
Lori and Adam.
Oh, sweet.
Small world.
Yeah, awesome.
Hi guys, we're on a
Musicians.
podcast.
Did you meet them in Grand Rapids?
Include us in this conversation, please.
Music.
Okay, Matt Maher falls like as he trips as he's going onto stage. Like I warmed up.
I don't
the
believe it.
stage
Matt
first.
Maher
He
never
did. He
falls.
but he
Oh!
he caught his guitar. He was
So
holding
funny.
his guitar. He like spinned on his back and
Gosh.
babied his guitar.
Superhero.
And then he like got up and just played the show. So
What a
was
And he
Sorry,
got like
you're
super
right.
hurt. He like went to the hospital,
He like
right? Because
No,
I'm friends with
what?
Matt Podesla, and I think he went.
What
he
a
played it off.
what a superficial man, right? To put his
Wait,
guitar
okay.
over
This
to
is
put
so
his
funny.
guitar over the value of his body, the temple of the Holy Spirit. I mean, come on.
Dude, okay,
What's a baby Taylor compared to Matt's majestic
Come
frame?
on.
Oh my
He was playing an E35. Thank
You
very
think
much.
so?
I know he was. I
Okay,
saw
how
it
much do you
today.
think Matt Maher's guitar costs?
That was like a $4,500
Yeah?
guitar.
What price did Jesus pay for Matt Maher's body?
Oh my.
Less than $4,500.
And Matt's saving the guitar,
Definitely less
saving
than
the guitar and
4,500.
damaging his body.
Wait, Amanda, this
You
is
heard
so
it here
funny.
first. Matt made a poor
Full
decision.
circle, I just now realized because Lori and Adam were like, "Yeah, we're playing for our friend
Yeah.
Amanda," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yes.
Just
You're
realized-
Amanda.
Because I played with them
So-
the following. It was shortly after that in Washington D.C. And I was like, "You're famous, Matt. Like Matt died on your phone video." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Okay, this is the part of the segment where the audience, there's index cards over there on the sacred space, and you guys can pass those around. What, are you laughing because I said sacred space?
I had a joke prepared. I'm gonna skip it.
Okay. If you guys want to write questions for Amanda or things you want Amanda to talk about, Katie, what's your childhood friend's name? Katie. Oh, Katie. I don't know why I got confused. There's too many Katies. Katie, if you have something in particular you want Amanda to share from her childhood that's extremely embarrassing, I don't know where the pens or pencils are. Just dig into my.
Use
Use a
blood.
communal
No, that's
pen.
mine.
Oh.
Just dig into my children's homeschool equipments and supplies.
Oh, they're so well labeled.
Yeah, they're very well labeled.
Crafts.
I'm impressed.
So if you guys want to write questions or anything for either Amanda or Beck, now's the time to do that. Amanda, have you tried Topo Chico before? We haven't done the Topo Chico. Do you want to? Have you ever
I
had?
have
to-
not.
Okay, we're gonna do Topo Chico.
Nice.
Okay, so this is how we do Topo Chico. Everyone gets one. You can't do this. You don't want to do this?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Warm Topo Chico.
Here.
It's more bubbles.
Jeez, it's
See?
spilling. Okay,
Wow,
you
I
guys.
didn't know water could bubble like that.
This is no ordinary
this
water.
is not water.
Okay.
This is not.
That's what he
This
wants.
is
Amanda,
something
while
different.
we're setting this up, Amanda, tell people about. So when did the book
About
happen?
the book.
That's a long story, right?
Yeah, so I wrote
You wrote a book.
I wrote a memoir with a priest. Like it's our memoir
Which
together.
priest?
You're gonna have to explain that one.
My BFF.
Whoa, boyfriend.
No,
Forever.
best friend
Oh, okay.
forever. Yeah.
So you almost married a priest.
Well, he wasn't a priest then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
He was just a
Well,
boy.
Anglican, right? You know.
Just a boy.
He was just a boy.
When did this book come out? Just recently.
Yeah, it came out within this year. It's brand new.
Yeah. It's brand new.
So
Okay,
Johnny,
so,
come on.
So you guys were friends. I was just reading back. You guys were friends, but God had other plans.
God had other plans.
No spoiler alerts, but
God
right,
wrecked.
but
But
he's
she is
on
married
the
and has
cover
God
with
wrecked
in
your
his
romance.
habit, and I'm married
So-
and have all the kids.
there's that.
Yeah,
I feel like you're avoiding this story. Should people just buy the book and read it?
I would recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus proceeds
What-
go
what's-
toward the Feed the Children fund.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
that's really awesome.
Okay.
So
Buy
those
the
are my
book.
children. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh,
Wait.
like feed your children. Yeah. Oh,
Oh. Feed your children?
tell me about that organization. Well, there's 4 of them. They live in Arizona.
Sign up to my Patreon so I can
really
afford
hot, yeah.
so I can afford gluten-free crackers and DoorDash. Please join my Patreon so we can stop driving to the grocery store.
That's hilarious.
If we get to the 3rd tier. Okay, this is Topo Chico. You guys are free to the Topo Chico in the fridge, but the way you tried Topo Chico, this is miraculous water. What?
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Did
Start
I?
over.
Okay,
No,
here
it
we
was
go.
just a little sip.
Okay.
Rewind.
Sean, cut that out, but don't.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Everyone cheers. The way you try Topo Chico is to just drink as much as you can
Okay.
until don't
Is that a
stop.
contest? Or
Ready?
is this
Everyone just go. Everyone just start chanting
Okay,
something.
go.
Amanda, chant. Oh no.
Warm. Oh, it bubbles
The
more.
silence was the best part.
Do you like it?
There's absolutely
I love it.
no chance.
It's really good.
Amanda.
Yeah, no one. Everyone's just silent over there.
She knows how to drink.
Everyone's everyone's just confused. Everyone's like, what are we doing?
That's
Why did we come to this?
Yeah, why did we come to this? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to questions for Amanda in a second. Is there any Amanda, so we traced your path here. You start rejecting the CCM. And then what happens next? You have this year.
It's too boxy. She want to be out
You
of
have
the
this
box.
dark.
think,
You have this dark
yeah.
night of the soul.
right.
You come back from college, and
Yeah.
then what happens?
And then I
When does 7 years ago start?
Yeah.
7 years ago, yeah.
When does that
So
start?
That was 3 years into my marriage.
Wow.
So-
Okay. So you're just kind of doing music, and at some point meet David.
Well, so I was doing music almost full time. Like I wasn't at the point where I was supporting myself like entirely through my own music, but then I was, like working at a church, like
Yeah.
a nice side hustle or whatever. Sure. And so when David and I got engaged, he still had a year left of college
Yeah.
for business and marketing, and I just knew that I loved music, but I wanted to get married more than I wanted to
Yeah.
pursue my career.
Well, so what was the biggest challenge that changed things for you? Like where did
Yeah.
things flip?
I think
for
it
you?
was that David was unhappy in his job. Like he was in insurance sales, and it seemed like the life was like draining from his eyes, and he
Yeah. I've seen insurance salesmen.
I was
They look just like
They
that.
look that,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. We love you.
yeah, I know some who
People
are
need
happy
insurance.
in their jobs
to
doing
Columbus.
that.
People need insurance.
But I
Allie?
think it was a combination of like living in Michigan too. Like we just had grown up there and hadn't really
Yeah.
thought about like what if we just went to a warm place. And so I asked him one time, I said like, "Hey, how do you feel about like the future? Like what would you love to do?" And he described basically like the job of like being my manager, but he didn't know that. He's like, "I'd like to, do all this business stuff and maybe travel sometimes and maybe be able to speak sometimes." And I said, like, what if you could do that for me and I could pursue my music and then we could work together? And he was just like, we could do that.
Yeah.
And so we were about to run a Kickstarter, like our first ever campaign of that nature. And I just said, what if you just take a month off of insurance sales and you work with me for a month and we just see if we can like
Do it.
if
try
we
it.
can get this album together and if we can get momentum, and then you can decide.
Yeah.
And by the end of that month, he could see like, oh wow, we could do this.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
this could be like how we feed the children.
What would you tell? So I'm sure there's a lot of people listening, and there are a lot of people who they do a little bit of music or some type of art form, but then making that jump.
Yeah.
And what would you say? Like it sounded like you had years of
did.
experience, but what advice would you have given yourself to discern when to jump? Would you have said to 15-year-old you like, just forget everything and just do it?
I'm really glad about the path that I took. The college thing was like a blip on the radar. I'm glad for it now, but I think just to like trust that gut sense in prayer, and if something just seems like it's not the right fit, to like lean into that and ask the Lord why. Like I wish I would have taken that to the Lord and said like, why do I feel uneasy about this?
Yeah.
But instead I just said, I trust that you'll be with me, Lord, and I just did it.
Yeah.
And so that was something where I kind of went against my intuition. But, God brings the best out of it.
Yeah.
I would say that something that I share with especially like younger artists or artists who are like trying to expand is what I did. Like I started with my inner circle, like my friends and family. And then I just grew that circle. Like I just got more friends.
Yeah.
And like
how?
this, I feel like this is so like intimate here, and like, I mean, I know there are thousands of people in your living room, but like we're close,
yeah, very close. Well, but
Yeah.
like how? What do you mean? Like should people just go to Facebook and just start friending random people? Like,
No,
what do you
I
mean?
think like if you're friending them so that they become a fan of yours, it's not
Yeah.
the same. But if you're friending them because you like this,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I
invite
really,
them into your home.
Yeah, like I appreciate what you're doing here on the show, and I've seen some like comments on like Catholic creatives and stuff.
Yeah, they all
And
love me
so
too.
when you reached out to me like, hey, maybe you could come down here, it was like, hey, we have this something we believe in, right? And that like things that we're working toward like art and stuff that can work together. And I feel like that's the way, rather than like I need people out there to be my fans.
Yeah.
My Patreon supporters, support me on Patreon.
Yeah.
Here's my SoundCloud link.
Yep.
I mean, I think all of that, those are great ways to connect, but only if it's like actual connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, totally. I've been trying to convince Allie to not do the follow unfollow for years.
I do not do that.
It's
oh
gross.
my gosh.
It's gross.
Every day.
It's literally gross.
Whatever.
Follows me.
Follow
Unfollow. Would you just notice me? Gosh. No, that's. Ugh. I do not do that.
Goodness gracious.
I do not support that either. But
So-
genuine connection, I think that's because you're not building like followers. You're just building or fans or whatever. You're just building.
Allie,
actual
can you grab a
relationship.
question from the audience?
Yep.
Amanda, what's been the biggest change from when you started the full-time 7 years ago to now? Like what's changed in those 7 years?
Well, I feel like I'm able to be a mentor now.
To others?
Yeah, to others who are starting out, because I'm definitely not starting out.
Yeah.
And
Did you have mentors? Like,
Oh,
have you had
yeah.
mentors? Who?
yeah,
Besides,
so
like,
but they
your
were
parents.
mostly men. So like men
That's
who were
fine.
in their profession. But what I'm saying is
I
like
don't see gender.
I'm really excited.
It's 2019. I don't
2019.
acknowledge or recognize gender at all. I don't even see it anymore. I'm very woke. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Mentors. So back to the
This
gendered
is going
mentors.
really well.
Wait, let's go to the question. Let's do a question.
Okay.
Who's this question from? Or do
we
people?
need, like, a
Does
drum
everyone is
roll?
everyone cool with us?
You're a
Oh,
drummer
okay.
now?
Some people don't want you to say who it's from, especially the embarrassing
Okay,
question.
this one's from Nick.
Okay, this is a really easy one.
Okay.
Where can we get a copy of your book?
Oh, you can get a copy
In the
of
living
my
room.
book. Well, I have a table over there with some copies of my book that I could
Yeah.
sign for you. Otherwise,
Good
you could
practical
go
question.
to whengodwrecksyourromance.com.
Wow, that's a good URL.
Heard
I'm
it
surprised it
here
wasn't
first.
taken already.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
sounds like such a
When you
popular
go to that
thing.
website, is Reckless Love playing?
That's actually
On
in the
loop.
CCM genre.
I think Corey would.
Oh, wait, wait,
resent
oh.
that.
Oh wait.
Universal,
I know this is kind of a dumb. I know this is like a faux pas question, but like musical influences, like
Oh,
or like
yeah.
people that you're
Right.
like you
Good
look
question.
at as a
Yeah,
you're
good
striving
question.
to
Right,
or doing
right,
something.
right.
Because like with podcasting, there's certain people where I'm like, man, I'm like striving to do this quality of this thing, or in a lot of things that we
admire,
do.
yeah,
Yeah, like when Allie's doodling, she's like
talent.
thinking about whoever.
Johnny's handwriting.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
in like the Garfield comics, she's like thinking
yeah,
about that.
Like,
so
I love.
Yeah.
who are some people that
hands.
you're thinking about? You're like,
Vocally, Whitney Houston.
okay,
I
okay.
sing like Whitney Houston.
What about okay? So vocally,
Okay.
Whitney Houston, musically.
musically, Stevie Wonder.
Come
Okay.
on.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Come on.
Let's keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Performance wise.
Performance like stage show.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Jesus.
I don't
Wow. Wow.
Or
have anyone
what about
It's,
that I'm
it's
following.
you. It's you. You
Your
you are your
own.
mentor for that.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have vocally, musically, performancely,
attitude?
attitude. What about attitude? Who has an attitude that you admire?
Attitude. You know,
You can say it on this
You can
podcast.
say it.
This is
You can
you're
say
allowed
it.
to swear
You can
on this
say it.
podcast. You can say it.
Set that rule.
I feel like I'm gonna be so Gary Vee right now. So maybe it's Gary,
Gary
Vee,
Vee,
but like
ooh.
I like myself.
Positivity. Yeah. No.
There it
That's. I think that's amazing.
Like
Your
I
own
like
person.
myself,
Your
and
own
there are
attitude.
no artists or
Who are like
sort of
you?
public figures who I am trying to emulate.
Preach. That'll preach.
That'll preach.
Let's do another question from the audience.
Tell me about your most spiritual moment or experience.
Most?
Yeah,
The
it
most
says
spiritual
most.
moment.
It says most.
Wow. That's deep. I like that one.
Oh my goodness! How can
We
we talk
can-
about like what would define, like a spiritual moment?
Amanda, how about you define it?
Yeah.
No, like I
Like
need
you
help.
are
Can we
your own
ask the audience?
spiritual moment.
Okay. Does anyone want to comment on what you would define as a spiritual moment?
No. So.
All right. We'll be back after a commercial from.
Maybe a prayer experience or a time
Spiritual.
in mass or a time at
Okay,
church
spiritual
or
as opposed to.
Okay.
non-spiritual.
I feel like
Down!
I am not.
No!
I
Just
feel
come
like
up
I
with
am
a
not.
word. Don't just
fitting-
add non to
I'm
it.
not fitting any
think it
boxes
works.
here.
Yeah.
So
Like a
like I
spiritual-
don't ever like.
You don't have a soul? You don't have a
I
spirit?
try not to separate like my spiritual experiences from any other experiences.
Oh, she's pulling a like, aren't we all
So,
spiritual?
like,
So
your whole day.
Amanda's
is
pulling like a, I'm
one-
always spiritual.
Yeah.
So tell us the worst thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
And then
We'll tell
you went to
you.
confession.
Yeah.
And how did the priest react?
What's your most like what's a moment that really took you out of your body?
Giving birth.
Like almost
Woodstock.
like an out of your
Giving
body
birth.
experience. Really? Was that spiritual?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you
Elaborate on that?
yeah, please?
Tell us more. I've never given birth.
You're
They've
literally,
never given
you're
birth.
literally on a,
right now?
you literally on a podcast in front of everyone. You're like, giving birth was the most spiritual thing, and everyone hung on that. And then you're just like, that's it.
So there's that.
I mean, we don't have to go into it, but
I feel like, do you
Raise
really
your
want to
hand.
know about that?
Spiritually, not
we don't
physically.
have to. But
They're connected. There's no separation.
did you listen to music at all? Was
I
you
like this turn. Yes. Yes,
While
I
you were
did.
giving
yeah,
birth.
yeah.
In fact, yeah. So now when I listen, I can't listen to that music anymore.
Brings
it
you back
makes-
to a time.
it makes
You're
you-
like, nope, we're
makes-
past that.
Makes you have Braxton Hicks.
I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
You start it ruined Stevie Wonder for her. She was just like, ah. Every time Stevie Wonder comes on, she's like, ah.
Very
I used to look up to
superstitious.
Right in. Oh man, that's uncomfortable. Okay, next question. Is there another question? there?
Okay, if you could sit on a beach, on a bench in a beautiful wooded area, who
Did
would
you
like to
misread
sit?
beach as bench?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. If you could
who would
sit
you like
on a
to sit next to and why?
bench,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
awesome.
you could sit on a bench,
In a beautiful wooded area.
in a beautiful wooded area.
this is an amazing
Yeah,
question.
that's so awesome.
Good
The
question.
first person who comes to mind is my co-author here, Father Matt, who you see on the front of this book,
Interesting.
because we are really close friends. But we recently were it wasn't a fight. It was a little bit of a disagreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I haven't seen him in person since then. We've reconciled over the
Wait, so
phone.
you guys had a quarrel, and then you published a book about him.
No. We have we have ongoing quarrels. We're like best friends, so like,
Oh, okay,
and we
okay.
write together. So like sometimes people you're close with, usually people you're close with,
Yeah,
tend
you
to be
hate.
like
Yeah.
your feelings are right out on the edge there, right
Yeah.
out on
Yeah.
your
I've
sleeve.
never had that happen.
Is
to me.
that
Mm.
no?
No.
Yeah. So
Just a love.
Okay, next question.
What is the best gift you've ever received?
ooh, the best gift I ever received was this is gonna be yes. I can't wait to talk about this.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, I want to know your thoughts.
About
it was my,
I can't wait to tell you my thoughts. I can't wait to have thoughts about the thing you're about to say.
It was my promise.
I'm gonna have
ring.
so many thoughts.
It was my promise ring, like my chastity ring.
Ooh.
And I know this has been like a topic lately.
Everyone here with a promise ring on, raise it up. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to the PR.
No, because of the like whole I kiss dating goodbye thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know? Do you know what I'm talking about? Are
That
we
guy.
on the
Let's
same
take a poll.
wavelength?
Everyone for promise rings, raise your hand.
I think it's a personal thing.
Now, if you're
so
against
why not?
promise rings, raise your other hand. Now look at us all.
He's got them both up.
Raise your hand if you do not know what a promise ring is. Who does not know what oh, everyone does. They just do not care. Didn't raise their hand either time. They're like, we're done. We're just sitting over here. They just want more alcohol.
Oh my gosh.
This is uncomfortable. Oh, so
So promise ring. So
Yeah. So my dad gave. So maybe there's somebody who doesn't know over there, and they just didn't raise their hand.
okay,
Yes.
they didn't raise their hand because they didn't want to be the
Yeah.
only one without a PR.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So my dad gave me a ring the night before my confirmation, and he asked me to make a promise that I would save my virginity for my future husband someday on our wedding night. And I was like,
Aw.
wow, this is.
That's
I was
cute.
just washing the floor, and so so we're getting ready
Alright,
for
Dad.
my confirmation party the next day, right? So I'm just like in the zone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this is like really serious
Yeah.
moment.
It's like, how do you say, like, how, like, you have to
say-
do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Like, how do you say
No,
no?
I don't think so.
How do you say, like, Dad, I'm not really into rings.
Okay.
Love my virginity, but just don't want to wear the ring. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not my vibe.
Maybe a promise shirt. I'll wear a promise shirt.
Like a hair shirt.
Like an undershirt?
Yeah. I'll wear that shirt, Dad.
Yeah.
And
I'll wear a
it
put like a
will
promise
say-
bolo.
Dad, I play piano. I can't have rings.
Yeah, I can't have rings on the
yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
I'm all about
hat.
I'm all about my virginity. Just don't want the ring.
Fedora.
That'd be uncomfortable.
Or like a pony. Like
A promise pony?
Give me like a pony.
Give me a promise car. How about that?
As
like, what
long
if
as
a-
this pony is alive.
As long as this pony's alive, my virginity is alive.
What if like a young girl realized the power of her yes there? Like, Dad, I'll do it, but you're gonna buy me a car. Promise car.
A promise car.
A promise car.
Like, let's
Wow.
really raise the stakes here. Really.
Yeah.
Dad, just the ring?
Power of
Yeah,
her yes.
really?
Just one
Just a
ring?
big deal.
How much you pay for this ring, Dad?
Yeah. Got
This
it
is from
Claire's.
Amazon.
Did you
Dad.
drop 1G? Did you drop a G or was this like sub G ring? Because I mean,
So cheap.
my virginity. I mean, Matt Maher's gonna dive on stage for a guitar.
I didn't know.
It's gotta at least cost more.
I
It's
didn't know
got.
where you were going with the Matt Mark coming.
I didn't know either.
You guys don't know about this? Matt Maher's a huge fan of
Promise rings.
guitars. He dove to save his guitar, so it
talked
has to
about
at
that.
least be something valuable enough. But if you're a father and you have multiple, so you're one of 7 kids. How many sisters?
Correct. I have 3 sisters.
So that's 3 PR rings. I mean, that's 3.
With me, so it's 4.
Oh,
of
okay,
us,
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I'm happy
So
with that.
4
I was
rings.
homeschooled.
So you got to divide that investment across four girls.
Right.
So he asked
Plus,
you.
you're already saving for their wedding, which is like
which is kind of implied.
a
with the
you the
promise
dent.
youngest
ring.
I mean,
girl?
that's a dent. Like
eldest.
4 girls, that's a dent.
You would
the
think
eldest
by
child.
the youngest girl that she would realize the power of her decision. She could say like, Dad, Amanda got a ring.
That's nice.
I want a Tesla.
A promise Tesla.
Yeah, like,
would like a promise
raise the bar a
Tesla.
little bit every time.
A promise Tesla.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I would like
explain
promise
why it's the best gift you've ever received.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's the best gift I ever received because it made something that like I had heard about, like church teaching, so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like on so many levels, like on a tangible physical level, like I thought this ring was beautiful. But then it was awesome that my parents would just talk to me point blank about
Yes,
something
yes.
that they
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
was
yeah.
so important, but it's like difficult to address and to do it in a way that's so uplifting. And so to me, the fact that they were so like proactive, because
Yeah.
I was only 14,
Yeah.
that like impacted me for the rest of my life. And then, but now my promise ring is my wedding ring. Like it's the same ring.
Whoa.
So
what? It's the same ring.
It's the same ring. So like these sapphires here were on my original ring.
Oh, okay.
And
So you like
this
combine.
gold is from like my grandma's ring and my ring combined.
That's cool.
Dang.
That's really cool.
That's cool. That's
So did David
Maryland.
for a little bit have to ask for your ring to
Yeah,
then propose?
so-
Because that gets kind of weird, right?
So right. Well, he proposed and he didn't. He
He's
did
like,
not
Amanda, I
have
don't
a
want to tell you
ring.
why, but I need your ring. And you're like, do you mean what's going on here?
I'm uncomfortable with this.
Yeah, I'm really
Can you
uncomfortable
take
with
your ring
this.
off for a
Yeah,
second?
yeah. It's like, what? Why
What
do you
does
want?
that mean?
What do you
No.
mean you want the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I know you want
so
the ring, but
it
like
worked
not.
out really well because when he asked me to
Be
marry
mature,
him,
Allie. Gosh, be mature here.
I'm listening to
This is
your
a beautiful story.
Okay, I'm glad we're having
Wrecking it.
this conversation, Allie. So when he asked me to marry him, he did not have a ring already chosen for me.
Yeah.
And so when we went to talk to my parents, like it was like,
Both
hey,
of
will
you went?
Yeah, like we're engaged. Would you like to give us your blessing? So my mom said, do you have a ring yet? And he said, no. She said, perfect. And she brought down my grandma's ring and she said, this is intended for Amanda.
I think that's really cool.
And
I think
so
that's really cool.
I looked at this ring and I was like, maybe we could like do a combo.
You can combine them, yeah.
That's awesome.
Kind of like a Thanos like Infinity Stone gauntlet. I'm
That's
just gonna
exactly
say,
it.
yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
because like it has similar themes: virginity and power.
Oh my god.
It's the Marvel universe, everyone. Okay, we're gonna bring on Beck, if that's okay, Amanda. Can we bring on Beck?
Please.
All right, everyone, if we could just applause for Amanda. Give Amanda a round of applause. Come on down, Beck. Oh, and we're gonna have Johnny switch with Nick. Yeah, Beck, just jump over here.
Beck. Beck.
If people want to, everyone, Beck, we want Beck. If you guys want to write, you guys could ask questions if you want for Beck. Oh, okay, we'll just have Beck and Amanda. All right, we'll do it. Is that what you want to do? Okay, both of you. Yeah. Beck, talking to the microphone.
Hello.
There you go. There's Beck. So Beck is going to be performing with you today.
Yeah.
And how do you guys know each
Music
other?
Together.
You wanna?
Yeah, we met at your college, right?
Yeah, okay, so it's kind of a funny story. Last year I spent my year serving as Miss Wyoming 2018.
So what do you mean by serving as Miss? Like, what do you have to do? Because earlier when we had lunch, you said you reigned. Your reign.
Yeah, I mean, reign's just like
That's
fun
intense.
word.
Sounds
It's
way
like,
cooler.
you know, like I'm a,
You're
like royal. I want to reign.
Yeah, but you said during my reign.
During my reign.
That's cool.
It makes me feel cool, I guess.
Okay, so
Yeah.
during your service as Miss
my year of
Wyoming.
service, my reign, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually found out that Amanda was touring through Sheridan, and I was kind of as
That's
a
in
musician,
Wyoming.
Yeah, Sheridan,
Yeah,
Wyoming. Yes,
Sheridan,
I'm from
Wyoming.
Born and raised in Sheridan, Wyoming. And as a musician, I guess like Amanda, I am kind of hungry for networking. So
Yeah.
I saw that she was going to be at my college, and I was like, man, what are the chances that I could reach out to her and we'd connect and do
Yeah.
something fun? And so then I ended up doing that, and then she was just super open to me, and then she's like, why don't we do a little mini show? And I was like, wow, that'd be so cool. So then we went to Holy Name Catholic Church, and we did a little mini show in the parish hall, which was really, really fun. And my friends and family were there, and then we kind of connected, and then we've just stayed in touch ever since. And she's been a great mentor and a friend, so it's been really awesome.
How long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I was 5 years old.
Well, I mean, haven't we all? I mean,
Right.
well, how long have you been interested in doing, like, getting into music?
I mean, really for a long time, I've known that I've always wanted to do that. I would say since I was about a junior in high school,
Yeah.
sophomore in high school, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
You know,
because you're
like-
studying
Yeah,
musical theater.
No,
Or-
I actually study arts administration, audio engineering, and vocal performance.
Yeah,
So
but at one point you were doing music
Yes.
or
musical theater.
musical theater.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Yeah,
and then
I
and then also now you're doing like classical.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
with studying music, you have
Yeah.
to kind of train under the classical umbrella, just
Yeah,
sometimes here and there. But I also hang out in the jazz world, and
that's cool.
yeah, I love it so much.
Here's a
It's
Topo
so-
Chico for you if you want
Oh
to
my
try
gosh,
that.
awesome! I would
Yeah.
love to. Do I have to chug it like everyone?
Allie, have you ever met? What do you call someone who's won a Miss thing? Like, is it a Miss? Is it a beauty? Like, what is it? Is it the Miss America beauty pageant thing that you
Yes,
won, or is
so
it the Miss State beauty pageant?
So it's a state title that
The
you
state.
win.
You won the state title. It sounds
Yes.
like you punched a girl.
I won that.
I got the state title.
I got it.
Wow.
Actually, I had never competed in a pageant before, so it was
You just
my
walked straight
first
in.
time.
Yeah, just won.
Whoa.
Just took the
whole
title.
Oh,
state.
gosh.
Yeah, so it was during a year where I was like, all right, Beck, you need to step it up. You need to just go for everything.
Just like-
and one of my mentors was like, hey, by the way, you should do this. Talent is 50%. And I was like,
Oh, okay.
all right. So then I trained really, really hard, and then I ended up winning interview, which was
Wait.
so
What do you mean you
crazy.
trained really,
Yeah,
really, really
how do I
hard? How do you
train?
train really hard for?
Okay, well, so
like a lot of tanning or like?
No. I mean, yeah. So there is a swimsuit.
Like, do you
that.
you just keep
That's
repeating?
natural for me. That's natural for me.
You just keep
Ooh, did
repeating
you
out
hear
loud.
her? That's
What?
natural. She
Yeah,
said that's natural for me.
Oh, that's
Oh
nice.
man.
You keep practicing in the mirror, like
Yeah, like I always
solving world hunger. You just
Right,
keep
yeah.
practicing.
world
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah. World peace.
April
Thank you.
25th.
Good.
Thank you. What do you mean you were training for
So
it?
yeah, I mean there is a swimsuit phase of competition, which is really, really controversial. But Miss America actually just
Oh, so you mean like literally like pumping iron, like training?
literally pumping iron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really, it was really empowering, and I know that it goes either side. But as a competitor who had to compete in that phase of competition, working out every single day and having a really healthy lifestyle, it was challenging.
Yeah.
While I was also a college student, so. For me, walking on stage in a swimsuit, it was empowering. But at the same time, my dad was out there, so I was like, all right, this is definitely a little weird. So I was like, okay, I get
Hey,
this.
Dad.
I was like, all right, I'm just not going to even go there or think
Yeah.
about that. So I'm glad that it was cut for Miss America. We didn't have to do that at Miss America. So we were just, all 51 of us were just like eating pizza and stuff before on the live broadcast.
Oh, that's right. So this happened recently. They cut the
Very recently.
They cut the swimsuit
phase.
section of Miss America. Okay, so you won Miss Wyoming, and then you went on to like the national
America.
or Miss America. Sorry,
Yeah,
and then you
so-
went on to the.
So actually, there's two different systems. There's Miss USA and Miss America. I competed for the Miss America system. It's so
Wow.
crazy, right? There's so much about pageantry that I had no idea about, but now I'm
Yeah.
an expert. I'm a pageant girl.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So I was the first Miss America class to compete in swimsuit as a state title holder, and then we didn't have
State
to.
title.
Yeah.
Got the state title.
Yeah.
Miss Wyoming. I
Miss
love that.
Wyoming. Yeah, I mean.
Have you ever
it's
punched a
really
girl in the
crazy.
face?
Yeah, actually, no, just kidding.
Have you ever punched?
where
Have you ever
I
punched
am.
someone?
Never.
You never punched someone in the face.
Never.
Amanda, have you ever punched someone in the face? All right, Allie, have you ever punched someone in the
I
face?
did karate in middle school, so yeah.
So you
That's
punched people in the
yeah.
face?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was part of the thing.
Okay.
I slapped someone.
That's it? Just a slap?
It was a hard slap.
It was a hard slap? Okay.
I've wanted to punch people in the face before.
Well, haven't we all? I mean, Beck, what was it? Because have you been Christian your whole life?
Well, actually, I grew up Catholic.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, so I would say I'm definitely Catholic/Christian. I'm kind of going through this weird transition where my Catholic church is just, I don't really know how to explain it. Amanda, you might do a better job of explaining how.
You know, before we came on this show, she's like, "Are they gonna ask me a bunch of Catholic stuff?" And I said, "No, no,
But
not
who's
at
the
all."
Pope? And if you get that answer
Catholic
wrong,
trivia, I was like,
how
no.
do you feel about Pope Francis right now? Put your hand on the table. We're getting a knife. How do you feel about Pope Francis? For or against? When I say Spirit of Vatican II, what do you think? When I say Matt Marr, Chris Tomlin, who are you for? Who are you against? Yeah, sloppy wet or what is it? Unforeseen or sloppy wet kiss? Which is it? Okay. So, well, my question for you is like, as a Christian, Catholic, Christian,
absolutely.
whatever, like getting into, like when you told your parents or when you were thinking about entering this beauty pageant, like what was that like?
Well, I think kind of like the same conversation Amanda had earlier about just parents supporting you in the arts. It's sometimes challenging and you don't always have that support.
Yeah.
But my parents were really, really hesitant when I was in high school, like, oh yeah, good luck with that. You're gonna be, be starving. And I was like, Mom, please, help me, But then when I really started taking it seriously, they're like, wow, you're really dedicated and you really want this. And then I kind of I threw out the whole, I'm gonna compete for Miss Wyoming. And they're like, oh, okay.
All right.
And then finally I was like, guys, I'm a new person now. Like, I'm really going to go for this.
We're doing this.
My dad's like, all right, you're competing to win. And I was like, let's go. So I was so serious. I journaled every single day and I was working out. I said no to so many things.
Yeah.
But
just set up a shrine to Sandra Bullock and watch Miss Congeniality. You're just like, play it again. Miss Congeniality in the background. Just like, I can do this. Just like working out. Like, come on, Sandra, let's do this.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
It was so crazy because after I had won Miss Wyoming, I was so sick of that kind of mentality that I didn't want to watch.
And Sandra, you're just like done with Sandra.
I didn't want to watch any movies about pageantry, and they're actually producing a lot more, especially TV series on Netflix. They have like I don't even know, like Dumpling. I was like, I don't even want to be part of this right now.
Allie, Amanda, which states do you think you could win like a Miss Beauty? Like if you had to pick a state that you. I think if I entered a beauty pageant, I could probably win Utah. There. Like, let's be honest, I could win Utah.
Maybe like
Louisiana, probably win. Like, I could.
Probably,
if I became a woman and entered a beauty pageant, I think I could win.
I think you could.
What's a really
go
small
really
state?
far with that?
A very small Rhode Island.
I could probably do Rhode Island.
Yeah. The thing is that
I think you're more of like a. I think you're more of like a Delaware kind. I mean, let's just. What? No, I think you're like a bigger state. No, I think you could go for a bigger state.
Bigger state. I'll start small.
I meant it positive. What are you guys like? I meant it in a positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, I think you're a beautiful woman of God. Oh my God. Aren't we all at this table?
Delaware.
Beck. Do we have questions for Beck? I'm getting uncomfortable.
I actually should tell you guys something really cool. So last year as Miss Wyoming, I attended this film festival, and it was so crazy because this film company produced this film called Miss Snake Charmer. And apparently the film is based on a pageant in Texas. And part of the initiation is that you chop a snake up and you skin it.
Ew.
Yeah, and so it was
actually a thing.
Wait. So this is just a random. So we could just start our own pageant where we like require certain things. Yeah.
But
sounds
it's so
amazing.
huge. And my Miss Texas actually had to go to, I don't even know. It's like the rodeo rattlesnake roundup.
Of course it's called that.
Yeah,
of course it's called that.
Here in Dallas, we're not in Dallas, but it's a thing in Dallas. If you look it up,
that makes sense.
And so all these pageant girls go there, and they have to they pick up the snake, and then they have to kill it right there.
Oh my gosh!
Part of the pageant.
It's part of the pageant, but then also it's part of tradition for the Miss Texas to go there and do
Don't
that.
tell PETA about this.
No.
We should make an anti-pageant where everyone has to like cover their entire head with peanut butter or something. I mean, you just do the whole pageant. You're just like covered in Jiffy, and it's just like, and you just have to play it straight. You're just like
It's
world
Snake
peace,
Charmer.
and just like covered in Jif. Does anyone have questions for Beck or? Okay, fine. It's okay. We'll have questions afterwards. We're kind of running out of time. Johnny was going to come on. We were going to play a game.
Cool.
Allie, if you could switch with Johnny real quick. Johnny has a game that we're going to play real quick. So both of you are musically inclined. Both of you are musically talented.
Thank you.
I don't know what else to say. That was just all. That was my filler. That's all I had. That was it. Everyone in the audience is like, "Can we get to the house concert? Like, we have kids at home."
Go.
Okay, so Johnny's
Smite.
going to introduce a game. This is the part of the podcast where we play a game.
Yeah, this
Johnny's
happens
gonna
every time.
Johnny's gonna and maybe let's do this. We'll have this will be audience participation. Okay, so
You got to start easy.
so when people start, we'll have people that lose like jump out and then jump. Does that make sense? So we'll just keep transitioning people out. So guys, get ready. So Katie's over there like, I'm not jumping in. So if you're ready to jump in, some of you could jump in. Anyways, it's gonna get wild. Okay,
You can submit. Okay, here. So we'll explain the game.
this is how the
first.
game goes. Yeah.
It's very nerdy.
Okay.
It's a very nerdy game. This is I call it the parallel minor challenge.
The parallel minor challenge.
So what you
for those
do
of you in the
is you
back
take-
preparing.
You take a popular song,
Yeah.
you sing it in the parallel
minor key.
minor.
Okay, so what's a
of that.
parallel minor?
Would it be? Was it relative?
Relative minor would just be
Yeah, Johnny, be more
like-
specific.
Oh,
Gosh.
just be like
wow,
starting-
Freaking.
wow.
Is it minor
it
or
would be
relative?
starting on the 6th instead of the 1 if it was relative. So
Oh, sure, fine.
parallel minor. I'm a huge
I have no
music
idea what he's
theory
talking
nerd.
about.
I
No
love
clue.
For
music theory as
example,
well.
No
here we go.
clue.
Wow.
Here we go, everybody. Wait for
I'm
it.
surrounded
Star
by
Spangled
nerds.
Banner would be
These
like
are
this.
Right.
Major is minor. Did you hear that?
Oh, gotcha.
This is gonna
But
play
it
well
gets-
for our audience here.
It's beautiful though.
Okay.
So like Star
So give us an
Spangled-
example.
Okay, there's your example. Star
No,
Spangled-
no, I mean like.
So like I
Sing,
would give them
play
a
it
song.
out, like,
No,
play it
that's
out.
them.
Okay, so they just have.
No,
so
what?
one
Okay.
of them or
He's
all of us or
challenging our
what?
ears.
So I'm challenging their ears. So
Okay.
So it would be.
so like let's do Happy Birthday.
So all of us have to sing it
No,
So
we're
it'd
gonna
be-
have them do it. See if they can do it.
together.
Well, you should do it. That'd be hilarious.
I think.
Why don't you
I'm
try
so
first?
glad that Beck is here.
I have no clue what
Okay,
this
let's
means. Okay,
let's
go.
listen to
All right,
Beck
go.
do this.
Okay.
Okay,
Happy
are you gonna
birthday.
play the keys again? The notes again?
Yeah.
Okay. So
You
we
want
have the
Happy
major key.
Birthday?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. Oh, yeah, sure. Major key. Major.
Sorry, there's your dough.
Da.
There's your dough. Yeah.
That's pretty high.
For
You
what?
want- There's your
Yeah,
dough.
can we go?
What is happening?
let's
Do you
go
guys know
C
what is
major,
happening? I
C
have no
major.
idea what is happening.
Yeah, just
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. there's
So
your-
that's-
that's your major.
That's
Okay,
major.
so now do the parallel thing. Make yourself parallel.
Parallel.
I'll make myself parallel. Are
Here
you
we-
gonna play the or is that
want
is that
the
the
dough?
game? Like we
The
have to-
game is you just have to
That's the
guess
game.
the parallel
you gotta,
minor.
you gotta try and.
Happy
What a horrible game.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
to
you're. That's like a harmonic minor.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, you see it?
Did she win or did she lose?
I mean, she did it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yay!
That was good.
Everyone in the audience is like, "Oh, good job!" I
They're like
think.
cool, but like okay, but music theory is so
Oh,
hard.
right.
See,
I'm
when I
sure-
texted you earlier and I
Yeah.
said this would be a fun thing.
You're like,
Actually, here I have
You
a fun
said
game.
it would be a fun thing, and I
Here.
trusted you.
We've got a fun game. The three of us are gonna ask you theory questions.
Oh my gosh.
No,
yeah.
okay, well, make Amanda do the weird thing and make Amanda do the
Amanda
weird
did
thing.
it. You missed
Alright.
it. It was really good.
Did you sing it in the Delilah voice? Like, what did you do? I didn't even hear it.
Okay, so like the Delilah.
different song.
Delilah, love someone tonight.
Do you guys
right,
know what
that's like
Delilah
the
is?
straight.
Delilah was like a 90s radio.
good.
Is she still on the radio? She's like a 90s like late night love radio kind of thing. Like people would call in with their heartache and she'd pick a song.
Right.
I-
and apparently I could do something
Yeah.
like
I'm not saying I used to listen to it in 8th grade
You were born in the 90s.
because I didn't, but
So
I'd stay up at
would it
night.
be like Delilah?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
She's
the
saying it
minor.
exactly
That's
the
the
same.
minor.
You're taking the third and
Well,
you're
isn't the
dropping it
third
down a half step.
So Delilah, right?
So
Yeah.
like, okay, here's a good example. Everybody know.
Please give us a good example.
Okay. Well, this is an okay example.
Okay.
To Jesus Christ, our sovereign King.
Okay. Yeah.
Catholics in the room. Sorry.
I grew up Catholic. I grew up.
Yeah. Beck knows.
Major key. Here we
Major
go.
key. Here we go.
Wait, sorry. It's hard to do on the piano. On the. Da, 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 da. That's major.
Okay, that's
key.
major, guys.
Here's
That
your
was major.
minor key.
Here comes the minor. It's gonna be very different. It just sounds like you're bad at playing the song. It just sounds like you suck at playing the song. Basically, this game is sing this awfully,
Oh,
which is how I always sing. Like I'm gonna win. It's just, but it's
that's
exact.
right.
But it's.
That
But I
is
do
it.
get that it's exactly awful. It's like singing it
precisely
exactly.
Okay,
awful.
but there's a lot of songs created in the minor keys that are just so beautiful. But
Yeah.
then they can modulate to a major key, and it just like.
I do like a good
modulation.
modulation.
Modulation. What is modulation, Edmund?
Modulation is when it goes. So this is.
It's already wrong. It's already wrong. It's already wrong.
This is constant. This is modulated.
You know, Edmund,
No.
That's vibrato.
growing up,
I think vibrato.
Yeah.
we would.
Yep, that's what I meant.
She's
Good
like
old
reading
vibrato.
his mind right now. Growing up, we would try to see who could sing the worst in our house because like we could sing.
Yeah.
Wonder
And
who
so
would
we'd
win
see like
that
who
out of
could
the
sing
four
the
of us.
worst. But the worst was when you tried. It sounded like you're trying to sound good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was just off just
it's
enough.
Yeah. It's hard to try to sound like you're trying to sound good, but
yeah,
then
but
sound
you're
bad.
singing. This is almost what that's.
You guys are
doing.
all
Almost.
nerds. You guys are all talented, gifted nerds, and this is just so sad to sing. How much talent is around this table that this is the stuff you guys do? It's really. You guys are the band kids. You guys are the band kids, and everyone else is like, we're gonna go do gym. That's
You know who
it.
else was? Bill
We're
Gates.
gonna leave you guys. What?
True.
Bill Gates was a band kid.
What does that mean? That-
Maybe.
Also
I don't know.
a college
It seemed-
dropout, right? Was he?
Yeah. It seems like Bill Gates was probably in band.
Okay.
I don't think
should
he has a
probably know.
college degree.
Okay. Well, how are we gonna close this out? Oh, do we have any other? Do we have other things that we were gonna do? Was there anything else we were gonna do? I think that's pretty much it. We need to like get to the house concert part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
Yeah,
you gonna,
that's Jesus. What? It is.
Oh my gosh.
What, Amanda? Okay, so oh no, I have something. Okay, guys, last thing, please. Okay, cool. This is the last thing. What we were gonna do to make that game more interesting.
It was already perfect.
Wait, wow. We're still vamping on the game.
Okay,
We're
these are
still
mouse traps. So what we're gonna do just to play this out.
If you get it wrong, you get mouse trapped.
Yeah, so here are mouse traps, everybody. These are mouse. These are legit
Okay,
mouse
all right,
traps.
they're mouse
okay?
traps. I see
So
that.
what we're gonna do?
So what is happening?
So what we're gonna do is we're.
You want to switch back?
Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we'll put a Topo Chico thing right here. Okay, you just hold it. Okay.
Is this gonna go flying?
No. So we're going to take turns trying to get it off of the mousetrap.
No.
Yeah.
I play piano for a living.
What?
This is news to me.
Wait, am I
Here, we'll
supposed
do
to put
another
my
one.
finger in there?
She's like, I sing, I can lose a finger.
Okay, maybe we'll play out a song.
Okay.
All three of us play
And
piano.
as
Do
we're
you play
playing
piano?
out,
Yes.
Do you play piano?
Yeah.
All three of us play piano, Edmund.
can we? What?
Yeah.
Wait, this is audience participation. How can we make this game
Fun?
more?
Let's not do it.
Yeah. How do you like? Okay, so we have the mousetrap, and we have 4 mousetraps, and there's 4 people here.
Okay.
I'm gonna damage my finger before this even starts. Probably.
Don't
Okay.
do it
Oh
then.
my gosh.
Okay, look. There's one for you,
Oh
Beck.
my gosh.
There you go. And then we'll get one for.
I'd like to tap Allie in to sit.
Okay,
here
Allie.
where I
If you want
am.
to do this, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, can you? Here, Johnny, can you put this there?
You
Okay,
got
good.
it.
There we go.
Don't. Okay.
Okay, and then
I don't even want to
Is
watch.
this the
put
time
this
when I
here.
can call up my childhood friend? She's tough. I think she's tough.
Katie, do you think you want to jump in for Amanda here? She's like, oh, it's the other
she looks
Katie,
back
right?
at the other Katie.
Does anyone think there's a better way for us to do this?
I think there's a great way for us to do this.
Okay, how?
Let's not do it.
Oh, whoa! Okay, well, Amanda, where can people find your music? Johnny, here.
Yep.
Amanda, where can people
Okay.
find you online? Where can
Yeah.
people find your music? What's your husband's cell phone number?
Yes, so my Instagram is Amanda Vernon
Ah!
Music.
Sorry,
Oh wow, that's your keyboard.
it's okay. Amanda, keep
Okay.
going.
So my Instagram is Amanda Vernon Music, and I'm also on YouTube. I release new videos every week. You know that?
You release what?
New videos every week.
Okay, on Instagram and what
and
else?
YouTube.
Okay, Beck, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Beck Bridger.
Ooh. Johnny, where can people find you?
Patreon.com/JohnnyPhilp.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Amanda, Beck, Johnny. Do it! Yeah! Johnny, do it! Johnny, try to get it, Johnny. Ah! Okay, thank you, everyone. That was the episode of the show. Tune in for the house concert. We're about to do this.
That
Okay.
went on forever.
Yeah, good job, guys.